Hi everyone, welcome to my Q&A video. It's been a while since I've done a video in this format. I didn't think I'd be using this until way later in the year. Anyway, I just want to start with the first, well, it's not really a question, it's more of a statement, is hypey! Thanks, Cantatino. I like watching his stuff, so I felt bad if I didn't at least respond to this. The next one is from All Seeing Eye. What is the song in the video called? I tried the link in the description, but it says it's not available. Sorry about that. I used a old link for that one. The link should be fixed now. The song's called Entropy from Awkward Marina. I'm using the remix version though. And the next one is Soulless Prime. That is a lot of questions. I'm willing to answer all of them, because I didn't really get many questions. I mean, after all, we only hit 100 subscribers, so I didn't expect a lot of questions. So, let's answer these one at a time. From YouTube University, what inspired the name? The name... It's a name I've been using for a long time. The only thing I can remember, I think I got the name from American Idol person. His name was Bo something. I honestly can't remember anymore. But I remember liking the name, because it was short, sweet, and it kind of, even though I technically got it from a guy, I thought it's like a... It's used for girls and boys, but I thought it was more feminine. I was like, oh, it's like the girls' version of Bob, and I like the name Bob. It's really dumb. And then I think I've been using Bo for a lot of websites until I made a DeviantArt account. They required more than just 3 letters to the name, so I just put in Gallery, and I just use that for everything because no one has that name. I was like, oh, this is really easy. I could almost go in anywhere, and no one has this name. Now that I say that out loud, I wonder how long that's gonna last. The next one, does the background song for the Q&A announcement vid mean you are a brony? I wouldn't classify myself as a brony. I watched, I think, up to season 3 and the movies. But my brother got me into it. He loved My Little Pony. And I really like the music, particularly from the fan base. There's a lot of talented musician bronies out there. I've been to 3 brony conventions. Those were fun. I liked those. Those were really fun. I miss going to those. But, I still wouldn't say I classify myself as a brony. It would kind of take away from the name, to be honest, because I'm not really a huge fan of the show in general. I do like the music, whether it be from the show or from the fan base. So I don't really see myself making an animatic with the characters My Little Pony, but don't be surprised if I start using more music from them and using other characters from other things, because I do have plans for using other songs with My Little Pony. I really want to do an animatic with We're Not Perfect, having the princesses from Nefarious sing that song, because I think that song would fit them very well. And there's one song that I can't decide what characters to use, but I need this song in my life in an animatic, was the Open Up Your Eyes from the new My Little Pony movie. I'm in love with that song right now, and if you haven't listened to it, listen to it right now. It's so good. Open Up Your Eyes. It's such a good song. I need to use it with something. If so, will there be an animatic in the future with My Little Pony content? I think I kind of answered that question with the other one. I think I answered both of them, is that I don't see myself using the characters from My Little Pony, but I do see myself using more songs from My Little Pony, whether it be from the fan base or the actual show itself. Who's your favorite royal from Nefarious? This is the hardest question so far. this crow count. He's so close. He's like he's got the money, he's got the power, but just doesn't technically count, does he? Okay. It's a hard choice between Mayapple and Malachite. I want to say I never pronounce her name right. It's Abada. Is that the bee princess? She's like a close third favorite, just because I feel like there's more to her than we've seen so far. Especially since she's obviously that kind of ruler that puts her people before anybody else, which I can respect that in a leader character. But yeah, it would have to be a hard choice between Maple and Malachite. But then again, it feels kind of lame saying that because I feel like that's kind of like everybody's list, at least as far as I've heard. I could be completely wrong. Is this too many questions to have in just one comment? I mean, I'm willing to let it go just because this is the first Q&A, and I don't think I'll be getting a lot of questions, so it's fine. I don't mind answering the whole thing. I mean, if I do end up getting a lot more questions, I might have to restrict. If I end up doing another Q&A, it's like I'm thinking way too far ahead in the future if I ever consider doing this again. I might have to restrict it depending on how many questions I get. But no, this is fine. This is fine. I don't even know why I'm rambling over this. Will you do a Ruby play button unboxing when you reach 50 million subscribers? If we get there, like, I mean, any play button that I get, I would definitely do an unboxing video, and then, yeah, I would do it. I'll do it. If everybody really, really wants to see it, then yeah, I'll do that. I mean, why not? Isn't that what the whole point of getting those buttons is? To make a video about showing it off? At least, that's how I always thought of it. It's all like, I don't know. I'll do it. I'll do it if it happens. I hope it happens. Next question is from Eric Brost. Best evil laugh you can do? Does that count? I don't know how much different is it from my normal laugh. Now that I think about it more. Let's see. But in all seriousness, how long have you been drawing for? Are you happy with where you're at now? And where do you see your talent taking you in the future? Sounds like an interview that I had before. If I had to be truly honest with myself, and with you guys, if you mean that as in skill-wise with my drawing, I don't mean it in a bad way, but I don't think an artist is ever truly satisfied with where they're at with their skills, because pretty much with anything you work at, you're always kind of improving you want to improve to the point where you're constantly pointing out what you can improve on, and I think your harshest and sometimes cruelest critic will always be yourself. Well, obviously what I'm trying to say is that I'm still improving. There's so many things, especially when it comes to objects and backgrounds and things, and I want to say I've been drawing as long as I can even remember holding a pen, because I was one of those kids that drew on the walls. I drew in books, and I would draw things like, I remember I made paper dolls, I remember when I really wanted a Digimon, and I made little paper dolls of Digimon. I remember doing that. You know, it's one of those things where I am absolutely happy where I am as an artist right now. I am thrilled as an artist right now of where I am. do I want to improve? Yeah. I want to keep going. I want to make my stuff look better every time. I want to try my favorite is trying new angles, trying different feels, especially with expressions. I love experimenting with expressions. And so I am happy where I am with my skills. I want to get better. And, save your old work. You want to save it because with me, I have a really old picture of when I was like 5 or 6. It was either 5 or 6. I have this old picture. I always keep it with me, and I always, if I feel like I haven't improved, like if I'm really against myself on my skills, I always take it out, and I remember this is the oldest piece of paper of my work that I've done, and just putting it against my other work, I instantly feel better. I'm also like a little embarrassed and like cringy when I look at him. I'm like, I mean, I was 5, but still, I'm like, but that's okay, because it's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be not as good as what I am now, and that's what made me feel better. And where do I see my talent taking me in the future? I don't know. What's the future? The future's terrifying. But seriously, it's I hope to make stories with it. If not in comic book or animation, anything. I just want to use this skill to make stuff. Whether it be a profession or just the hobby the rest of my life. I hope it's not the hobby the rest of my life. But but I do plan on making a comic series. In fact, about 3 years ago that was supposed to happen, and that didn't happen. I got really close, but it didn't happen. But this year is different. This is my year. This is my year. I'm gonna make it happen. So look forward to that. Alright, the next one up is Anonymous Fandom Girl. Hey, since you like Transformers so much, if I can make it any more obvious at this point, ever thought of doing a Transformers animatic? Yes! I want to do one so bad. There's one that I really, 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 really want to do. Have you ever heard of the movie Pan? It's like a Peter Pan-ish movie, I think, something like that. And it's called Pan, and there's a song that's like, it's like its own cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit, and I want to use that particular version of the song for a scene with, well, it wouldn't be Optimus, it would be Orion Pax going into the arena, going to see, well, it wouldn't be Megatron, it would be Megatronus at the time, going to the arena. It's going to be Megatronus' last show before he quits and enters politics, and Orion Pax goes in there for his to support his friend, even though he doesn't really like the arena scene. And I just want to do that with that song because it would kind of loom into the idea that like Orion Pax is kind of questioning his faith in his friend because he's seeing a side of him that he really doesn't like, and seeing a full fledged of it. Talking about making this, I need to make this. There's also another one that I was thinking of doing a while back. I kind of have some ideas for it. I don't know if I want to continue it. I was going to be using looking through a window with the Transformers animated characters. Like, it was kind of a thing with all of them, and I only did Prowl's part, and I'm just gonna show it. I'm gonna show it because I have it, and I don't know if I'll ever finish it, and it'll be up to you guys if you really wanted to see it or not.
When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, Do you ever really crash or even make a sound when you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around? Do you ever really crash or even make a sound when you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around? Do you ever really crash or even make a sound when you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around? Do you ever really crash or even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? It's like I never made a sound. Did I ever make a sound?
Yeah, that's all I have of that. I don't know if I want to finish that one. I remember making those panels in particular that I had no reference of what Prowl looked like. I didn't have anything to look up to make sure I had Prowl's autonomy right because I did I wasn't anywhere near anything that I could look it up. So like I had to draw him from memory, and now looking back on it, I'm like, oh, I drew his arms wrong, and I drew that thing wrong. It's just like it was pretty good for like straight out of memory, but use references. I don't know. I'll reconsider maybe continuing that one. I'm also thinking of the My Little Pony movie with the song Be Awesome. I kind of want Sorry from Animated to sing that. Probably to maybe Rodimus. I know he didn't really do much in Animated, but it'd be really fun to have like her singing with Rodimus. It'd be cute. It'd be cute. It's a cute idea. But yeah, I have a lot of ideas for Transformers animatics. I really, really want to get on those as soon as I can. Now that I'm really working on the animatics again, I finally have more time, so look forward for a lot of those. It looks like we have one more question from Anonymous Fandom Girl. Since you have some original characters, what are they like? Personalities, goals, fears? Or is this question too broad a spectrum? Yeah, I have characters that are going to be in the comic that I'm making. They're actually based off of characters that I used to use in original character tournaments. They're all like characters that I used into the tournament, and I kind of had them all connected with each other, and that kind of built up a world in and of itself. And when I was first time thinking about making the new comic, I was going to do it from character Winston, his perspective, because he's very important to the plot, but I decided to change it to Gale, his best friend. I want to start it with her instead, when I get this up and running. I don't want to go in too deep on character traits and whatnot, just because that would take forever, especially if I talked about every character. What I can say about Gale is that because of the kind of job, quote unquote, on that she has, she ends up being very protective of Winston, just because she's basically his guard in a sense. And sorry I don't have a picture of Winston yet, because I haven't done his redesign, because the only profile picture I have of him is so old and so badly drawn, I can't. I need to redraw him. But if I had to say anything, he looks very much like Ro, the character in the middle of this picture, because they're technically related. And then you have the one with the knife blade, that is Tim. I never had a chance to put him in a tournament, but he was always there as a character to bring up depending on what happened. But and then you have the character in the showing the back with the fork-like weapon. That is Stranger, and I remember a lot of people liking his character, and I don't really blame them because I like him too, but because I made him. But the thing is, I remember a lot of people really liking his character, so I can't wait to put him back in a story again, and him just being his unsettling self. And the final question, the man himself, who made Nefarious. Oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure this is the month of the anniversary of Nefarious, so congratulations, Josh Hono. Just congratulations on making Nefarious. It's good times. I'm having good times with Nefarious, the comic series and the game itself, and good times. And the question is from Josh Hono. If you can write your own issue of Nefarious, what would it be about? Are you sure you really want to know? Okay, I'm just... that made it sound like it was a bad thing. I have a couple of ideas that would roll around in my head, but most of the stuff that I kind of want to happen, I'm pretty sure is going to happen, like, more about Mac and the fact that we're gonna know more about Crow's family soon, which I'm really excited when we get to that part. But if I could only make one issue and only one issue, I think it would be the one that I kinda made with this picture in mind. There is kind of a story that I kinda made in my head behind this picture was... Well, the hard part is I don't know if I want to tell it through, like, a flashback through Mac's perspective, or I just wanted a full issue of a past setting. It would be a year or two before the events of the game. Mac and Crow are doing the original, like, hero versus supervillain type of shtick, and probably a little bit of the fight and kind of establishing that they've been doing this for so long. It's like almost too natural for them. And then, of course, Mac defeats him and Crow is stuck under the rubble, and Crow's like unrelenting but saying basically, okay, you win, the next room over there, that's where Mayapple is, just go in there and free her and all that. And Max decides to, you know what, no, I'm gonna stay here, because Mac went on ahead to, defeat Crow because he's the hero and whatnot, so the proper authorities are way behind them, so he doesn't want to leave Crow alone in the room to save Mayapple, because every time this scenario happens, he saves Mayapple, but then Crow magically gets away because the police didn't show up and Mac went to go save Maple. So... And at this point in their superhero/villain relationship, he knows he would never hurt Maple. At least he knows she's never in immediate danger with Crow. So he feels like wherever she is, in that other room, she's always safe. So why don't I just stay here, keep an eye on him until the police finally get in here. So basically, they're just sitting there while Crow's being salty, and Max starts thinking they've been going at this for 4 to 5 years, always defeating Crow and saving Mayapple and all that. But he's kind of tired of how Crow just, like every other villain, just gets away with everything, and he has to keep cleaning up his mess. So he starts realizing he's in a room alone with Crow, and no one knows what they're doing. He can easily kill Crow, and no one would even question it. Because can you really fight for someone off for that long and not accidentally kill them in the heat of battle? Well, in the world of video games, yes, but the thing is, the point is, if he killed Crow right here and right now, he could easily lie to everyone and say that he killed him in the heat of battle, and everyone would buy it hook, line, and sinker. And I thought it'd be really funny, even if it's a little cliche. I kind of wanted to do the good conscience and the bad conscience, but but with Mackie, instead of an angel and a devil, it would be 2 angels, and he'd be like, wait, which one of you is the bad one? And they'd be like, look, since Crow is the villain, both of these ideas sound really good. We're just debating which one to choose. And poor Mac is sitting there going like, if they're both good ideas, why do I have this horrible knot in my stomach now, ever since I started thinking about this? So Mac is trying to figure out something, anything to convince himself not to kill Crow. So Max finally decides to start talking to Crow, and he brings up the past. And Crow, the last thing Crow wants to talk about, especially with Mac of all people, is about the past. But Crow hasn't got any flags that the option of killing him is on the table. So as they're talking about the past, Crow is making his situation even worse because of the fact he has no idea he's actually in physical danger right now. So he's just mouthing off and basically saying the exact opposite of what Mac wants to hear at this point as they're continuing this very awkward conversation. And there's a point in the conversation where it reaches its breaking point, is the fact that Mac finally just decides that there is no redeeming quality in Crow and positions his sword ready for the kill. I don't know if I want Crow to realize that's what's happening or not. And as he's about to strike, he suddenly hears a scream coming from the room where Crow said Mayapple was in. And yes, he knows for a fact that is Mayapple screaming, and he panics, runs over to the room, and he sees Mayapple there, and she's kind of holding her arm, and a little sad, and he goes over there and he asks her what's wrong. Like, who hurt you? Like, what did Crow do? And she's like, it's fine. I mean, my arm really hurts, but that's just because Becky ran into the room and pinched my arm really hard. Then Mac looks to see that Becky's standing right outside towards the room where Crow is, and she gives him this cold stare like, "You're lucky that's all I did." And Mac realizes that she saw everything. Becky locks them into the room, and Mac tries to break down the door as quickly as he possibly can, but by the time he gets the door down, Crow and Becky are gone. And I would think I would end it right there, depending on if I just wanted it to just be a flashback in general, or I would continue it a little bit further if it was from Mac telling the story from his perspective. Mostly because there's a slightly different, like a continuation to that ending that I might add in there. Something along the lines of that he's talking to Becky, like they're kind of bringing up this moment. And she honestly doesn't understand why he's bringing this whole situation up. And the thing at the end is that the reason why, at first she thought he's trying to make some kind of point that he's like, now that he's not part of the hero thing, he's all gung-ho about the idea of like killing him and whatnot, and in reality he wants to apologize. He's sorry for scaring her. And he's very sincere about the whole thing, in the sense of he's trying to apologize, and he kind of brings up other events too, but that one in particular, like, he feels like he would have killed Crow if she didn't do anything, and that's why it's been bothering him ever since he started trying to getting over how much he hates Crow. And she basically, the last thing she tells him, if you were given the exact same opportunity again, would you do it? And he doesn't really give her an answer, and she basically just says, then you're not sorry, and she leaves. And that's basically it. And that's my fanfic. I mean, if I was given the opportunity to write an issue. Don't judge me. And that's it. I guess that's all the questions. I apologize in advance if everyone thinks that I published this video too quickly, or I missed a comment, because I was gonna wait for a full week, but then I heard there's going to be huge construction work, around where I live for like a week, so it was either wait a week for me to make this video because it'd be so noisy around here that I wouldn't be able to talk into the mic, and a week is like the earliest they're gonna get it done. If anything goes wrong, it might be like even longer than that, so I decided to just make this as quickly as possible just in case. So thanks again for comments, and thank you again for 100 subscribers. And I know it's been much longer than usual for me to send another animatic out. I am actually really sorry about that, In a way, I'm sort of getting impatient with myself, and that's not helping. So, anyway, don't worry about it. This was fun, and talk to you later. Hopefully I could do something like this again.